gentlemen, we have an exciting new company to bring forward on OTC Stock Talk. We're not licensed investors. We're not financial planners. We don't have our Series 7, 26, 29, or any of the other licenses that are needed to buy or sell financial instruments on behalf of the client. But we are here to bring you the best information we can possibly bring so you can make a better investment decision. Tonight, we're going to be hosting a live Q&A with MDCE, and it's going to be a great conversation. Personally, I have a big heart for this company because I've always been fond of collectibles, and they have an auction house that auctions off amazing collectibles from all of the sports people that you've grown to love, including people like Michael Jackson and his studded glove. My goodness, I can't wait to find out what they have to say in just a few minutes. Let me go ahead and set things up.
You bet your bottom dollar I am.
Yeah, I'm hoping I have a top dollar.
Well, top dollar's fine. Both dollars, top and bottom, any type. But we haven't heard from these guys. We haven't heard from these guys forever. I'm excited to hear what they have to say.
Me too. Hey. I mean, I Infinite Auctions is in the house. Are you there?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
How you doing?
Great, man. How you doing?
Pretty good. Can't complain. Life is good.
Man, I can't. You know, one of the worst moments in my life was when an ex-roommate threw out my entire card collection. I had like rookies of so many people that probably are worth thousands now, and like 1990 something slammed up championship card of Jordan's had it signed. I mean, that would have been I cry thinking about it now. But I'm looking into your company, man. You guys got a lot of stuff flowing through there. How did you get a hold of the Michael Jackson glove?
You know what? We buy out a lot of collections. So sometimes there's surprises in there that maybe you just think of ordinary items that turned out to be absolutely spectacular. We had an idea what that one was. We bought a collection, but there were some other pieces in that collection that turned out to be a pleasant surprise. It's hard to kind of hide a Michael Jackson glove. We knew that was special when it came in.
And do you?
It was shining on
cars. Sorry, Josh. Do you do stuff with cars?
We don't with cars, but
okay.
With the name Infinite Auctions, we've got plans to do lots of things that we're not currently doing as an auction house today.
Well, yeah, because I was going to ask, like, what, before we get into the interview, like, if you had to pick a car from the last 15 years to put on ice and sell in 40 years, what do you think?
You know what? All the cars that I like are stylish and they probably depreciate in value.
Right.
It'd have to be something that was like a limited edition, maybe a 500 or 1,000 made or something like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Definitely like some V12 sports car or something like that. That was a limited edition. Those are the guys that make money, in the car collector car space.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't think of one. I mean, I drive a GTI because I love it. I can't stand my WRX. I've already done so much to it, and I'm ready to let it go. But they're not super cars or anything like that.
Maybe that Chevy SS. Remember that one from a few years back?
Yeah. I love the sports cars. I'm a little bit wide of a guy, so it's not always easy to get in and out.
I get it.
Gotta have the space.
Right.
All right.
Before we get started, guys, everybody in this place, please go and share this space. DM your friends. Let them know we're here for a Q&A with MDCE. And directly following, we're going to have an open mic to chop up all of OTC stocks and what's going on in the OTC at the moment. So you guys don't want to miss this. Go ahead and share that real quick before we get started. All right, I think we're ready to go. Now, before we start, can you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, my name is Marshall Perkins. I'm the CEO of Infinite Auctions, which is a subsidiary of Medical Care Technologies, Inc. I've been in the sports memorabilia business since I was 10 years old. This is a life's passion. With the lifelong, body of work in the sports collectible industry, I've become an expert auctioneer, appraiser, and authenticator. I've worked with professional athletes. I've worked with professional sports leagues, and I've helped manage and curate some of the best collections in the world, and I've worked with some of the top auction brands as through strategic partnerships like Sotheby's, Heritage, and a lot of others. So yeah, sports collectibles. That's me.
Man, Sotheby's stands out. They've been around for a long time.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Next question, man. Starting off, would you give us a little bit of background on the company and discuss any or some of the company's accomplishments?
Infinite Auction started in 2016. It's an online auction house that specializes in the sale of high-end memorabilia. We have a reputation for sports memorabilia, but as of late, we've been doing private sales and auctioning movie and entertainment memorabilia. We work with a number of celebrity athletes, and we've sold some of the most valuable, items in the history of sports collectibles, including, fight-worn trunks from Muhammad Ali, a number of Tom Brady, game-worn jerseys, Michael Jordan game-worn jerseys from historic moments. We've set several world records for items sold in the six-figure range, and we have about $15 million in documented sales.
Wow, that says a lot right there in a short period of time.
Right, and we're
Can
just getting
I know
started.
this isn't one of the questions, but I've got to ask, what
Mhm.
is the most interesting story that you have about a piece that you've acquired? I mean, I'm sure you got a bunch, but if you can think of like one interesting story, I'd love to hear it. So do people.
You know what? There's so many stories, but I'll sum it up just by kind of giving you an example. Um, the coolest, like to me personally, the coolest part of sports collectibles is a game worn memorabilia. And I start off as a sports car
Hmm.
collector. There's nothing more exciting than you get a jersey and you have an idea that like, oh, this jersey looks like it could be worn. You look at the tagging; it's got the year on it. Then you start looking
Yep.
through you know, videos or photos, and all of a sudden, you see it's like some loose threads, or you see like a stain or a tear on the shoulder that's just like the jersey that you're holding in your hand, and then it kind of
Oh
hits you
man.
like, whoa, I'm holding a piece of sports history here. And I've personally discovered items like um, Michael Jordan's uniform from his very first dunk contest victory. Like I'll never forget holding that uniform in my hand, and I knew it was special because it had a lot of wear on it. But I just remember when I
Yeah.
saw that photo on the computer when he's sitting on the rim holding the trophy, and it's like I see like these like unique like identifiers, like unique qualities of the jersey. I'm like, oh my goodness. I've discovered like
This is it.
Mickey Mantle's World Series jersey, and it actually photo matched to like back to back World Series. Um, it was like I saw a ghost when I had a Jim Brown jersey that I picked up. And it was kind of
What?
floating around in the hobby for a while. Nobody really knew exactly what it was. The material looked a little bit off, and I ended up, finding like photos that were kind of buried away where it was from his absolute best season as a pro. I could just
Wow.
remember like I was just my hands were shaking. I was just like, "Oh my god, like this is amazing,"
Somebody put
But
this in a box, like
right, it's
in
it's
a
been so
case.
many it's been so many moments where it's like I'm in my office and I'm just looking at it. I'm like, I can't believe this is right here. It's been so many moments like that. Like there's probably a huge percentage of items that we've sold or brokered where it's like I feel guilty selling it like to a person. It's like it belongs in the Smithsonian, or in a museum or something. Crazy.
Do they have a sports museum like the Smithsonian?
Yeah, the
Uh,
Smithsonian, they do have like a sports division, and a lot of teams, like the Yankees, have a museum. Some of the teams are, they're understanding the significance of memorabilia now. So, a lot of the teams are kind of holding on to things, or they're kind of reaching out to get, certain things for display in the stadiums, and, museum kind of things that they're putting together as well.
wow, that's crazy. I mean, that's really awesome to hear that because I mean that's the type of stuff that's gonna captivate people being able to hear those stories.
Right.
What are some of the things to look forward to that would get investors excited?
You know what? Infinite Auctions, we have a history of aligning our brand with star athletes. We've continued to do that. We've worked with several Hall of Famers. We've worked with top auction brands and sports collectible companies. As we continue to grow, and we're evolving to monetize those relationships in a number of different ways that will kind of transform the way our company is sort of seen. Like right now, we're seen as predominantly an auction house, but we're doing a lot of things that are kind of we're planning to kind of change the space and not just be an auction company. So those developments, when they start to come out with PRs and the story starts to unfold, because we're just at the beginning of our story. When those things start to come out, it's going to be very exciting for everybody, that's kind of watching.
And some of that stuff's gonna be happening this year, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We're working hard, man. We're negotiating deals like every week. There's like a new deal on the table. So, we're just kind of strategizing to kind of see, okay, like, which deal suits us best, and we've got a lot of different things we're going to do, and like which avenue are we going to go down, first. So just really
That's a
strategizing. But there's lots of things in the works.
that's a crucial point to be thinking about for sure. Now, on a personal level, what do you think about Tua Tagovailoa?
Man, you know what? Outside of the concussions and the little injuries, man, I think he's got all the tools. I mean, he's got the players on, he's got the receivers. Like, I like his skill set. I guess it just comes down to consistency.
I guess we'll find out this year, right?
Right, right. I like him a lot. I thought he was going to come out. Just he had like back to back concussions and some other things, so kind of slowed him down a little bit. But I like that team. I think they've got a lot of potential. It's just about being consistent at the pro level.
Yeah, definitely. Which is tough, man, especially with the way people get hit up there. That's
Oh yeah,
wow.
they're changing the
I
rules
can't
now. They've
imagine
got
getting
like,
hit by somebody like that.
yeah,
The drop hip
it.
tackle when they took that out, yeah, that was smooth.
I don't
I
know how
don't
you
know,
tackle anymore.
right? Is it
The
going to be
way
football now?
Yeah, I don't know how they're gonna do it. The way I grew up playing football, like my whole career, everything I did would have been illegal.
Yep.
Like we were, there was no heads up football back then.
Nope, not at all, man. Look, in some forward thinking terms, what do you see as like the biggest growth catalyst for MDCE?
Our biggest growth catalyst will likely be in acquisitions and partnerships within the collectible space. The kind of partnerships that we're looking to be a part of would dramatically expand our footprint and a number of new sectors in the world of collectibles. Even more impressive will be, the unfolding of that expansive story and the evolution that we'll have that will involve, things like technology and just incredibly exciting partnerships that we're working on.
Okay. Are you currently looking for any funding, or if so, what's the plan for the funding once you get it?
I mean, you know what? We're always looking for funding, but the important thing is that it's healthy funding options. As a first resort, we have a number of growth initiatives in the works, like I touched on earlier, just to expand our reach and also, more importantly, our range of services in the sports collectible arena. You know, and also, picking up super high end historic pieces that we can partner up with either museums, alternative investor funds, like people that are going to pay premium, for ultra one of one, like historic sports items. you know
So, in the auction setting, it's a little bit different than like saying like an online auction, isn't it? Or do you do live auctions more so, or do you do most of them online? I guess that's what
You
I'm
know what?
asking.
We do live auctions for charity. We do those. We have our online auction platform. Most of our record sales were private deals. We work
Really?
direct. Yeah, we work directly with the NBA's game worn program, the NFL's game worn program. They have access to current players, so if they need a Luka or LeBron from today, they can go get that. But if you need a Larry Bird, a Magic Johnson, a Michael Jordan, Will Chamberlain, a Joe Namath, a Joe Montana, they reach out to a guy like me, and we put the deals together.
Wow. So you have people on the ground looking for these things, or how
Man,
exactly do you go about finding them?
man, I've got like a Reddit army of football and game use collectors. Before I started the business, I was kind of like I wouldn't even say like a freelance. I was just volunteering services, for appraisals, and I was authenticating, and I was kind of guiding guys that, a guy comes and says, "Hey, man, I want to buy this piece. It's $100,000. It's $1 million. Like, am I crazy? Like, is it real?" So it just turned into a thing where there were like 30, 40, 50 people calling me every day. And my wife's like, well, "What are you doing? Like, this is a business." And I'm
I
like,
think God's
"Really?"
telling me I got a business on my
Yeah, and I'm
hands.
like, yeah, I'm like, you may be right. And now it's like all of that volunteering, kind of paying it forward. It just made it like way easier to navigate in a collectible space with the relationships that I have.
That's awesome, man. So you do a little bit of music and theater stuff or movie stuff too, right? Can
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
something just recent? And can you talk a little bit about that?
Man, you know what? you know, people see me as like the sports collectibles guy, but I'm a collector of like all historic items. You know, whether it's like Americana, whether it's I love movie memorabilia. You know, I love music memorabilia. You know, it's just the name of the company is Infinite Auctions. So the vision when I
Infinite
first started,
options.
yeah, the vision. You know, I mean, I'm into collector watches. I'm into, you know, I'm into a lot of different things in the collectible space. As I've been a collector, I was a collector when I was like 4 or 5 years old of everything. You know, so ultimately, like I said, like the our auction model that you see today um, is not necessarily the final version of Infinite Auctions, and we've got some things in the work where our strategic partnerships are going to help us blossom and do lots of different things in the collectible space. But I love
That's pretty
entertainment
tight, man.
memorabilia, and we will be selling. We're doing a lot of things in the entertainment space that we'll talk about later, maybe in the PR. But we're doing some fun things in the entertainment space as well.
You got to promise me to come back on after you have some of these things unfold over the next year. I mean, I'd
Oh,
love
for
to have a
sure.
follow up later on, man. It's I can't. I know you can't tell me now, so I'm not going to ask. I'm going to move on. But do you guys have any like target acquisitions that you're looking at over the next 12 months?
You know what? As you said, I can't be too specific, but we're very interested in companies in the sports collectible sector that have integrated advanced technology into their business models. We're looking for long-term partnerships that will, give us the potential to not just grow, but to kind of catapult, our brand to like new heights in the sector. So that's kind of the type of partnerships that we're, looking at
Sports
right
collectible
now.
sector with technology attached.
Yeah, there's some cool things that people haven't thought of yet. In this space, there's a lot of bigger auction companies, but you'd be surprised how many of their power moves they've gotten the recipe from things that they've seen me do. So this will just be another one of those examples where we do something amazing and everybody else will follow suit.
Is it a shame you can't patent your process?
Well, you know what? I'm not gonna say too much, but they won't be able to copy this
Uh
one.
oh.
Won't say too much.
All right, awesome, awesome. What are some ways you're looking to increase revenue for shareholder value, man?
You know what? The best way to increase revenue and improve shareholder value is by just being diligent and really, to be honest, more creative than the competition. Like we just touched on, finding new ways to monetize our contacts is really important within the industry, and evolving to offer better industry service and ultimately offering new service platforms in the collectible space. You know, to sum it up, it's not just a goal to be a major player. We want to be the major player, in our space, and that comes with our evolution as a company.
Sounds beautiful. I do have some other questions that probably weren't thought of by anybody
Mhm.
else, but it's easy in the small circles of people that can afford to buy these things for you to brand your name. But how
Right.
hard is it for you as a company to brand your name with the retail investors out there?
You know what? I think it's by
And that's a
being,
different animal.
yeah. You know what? You have to be diverse in your approach. We focus heavily on like when we first started off. I have like a history in e-commerce. Like, I was like an e-commerce monster. I was like an eBay power platinum power seller when I was like 16 years old. And that was
Wow.
was sports collect, and I did that for a decade. So like now we're dealing in really high end, memorabilia. We're brokering deals that are heavy hitters. But the way that we're looking to move forward is not just going to be like we're catering to sports collectibles, just for the ultra wealthy. Like we're kind of trying to evolve our business model where we can kind of use certain tools, I'll say, to be able to do higher volume and kind of address different levels of collectors, and that'll help us compete. With some of the other companies that are in the space.
How crucial is it for you to use social media? I mean, not just for like, hey, I'm a public company and I'm a stock,
hmm
but to also build up the intensity and interest in certain products.
Oh man, you know what? Social media is really, I mean, it's everything. You guys take a look. Take a look at us on Instagram. Infinite Auctions. you know, we kind of save our Twitter space kind of as an organic place to kind of communicate, with our investors and things like that. So we kind of keep it,
Makes
you know,
sense.
yeah, just keep it, kind of simple a bit, but our Instagram profile really kind of showcases like, what we're doing on a weekly basis and, kind of highlight some of the memorabilia that we sell and things like that. But it's very important. I think it's been a tremendous tool, for us to connect with, some professional athletes. We made some great celebrity contacts, through our social media profiles, and it's definitely helped our brand exposure.
Yeah, I saw your Michael Vick jersey. I thought that was pretty awesome.
Oh yeah, man. It's kind of cool. Like I grew up in Detroit, so Barry Sanders is like my favorite player. I was on Instagram like maybe a couple weeks ago, and Adrian Peterson actually followed me on my personal page. So I was like, all right, that was kind of cool. I don't have many
Awesome.
followers, but I was like, all right, that's cool. Somebody's paying attention.
All right, so right now let's solve that a little bit. Tell everybody how to get to follow you on social media right here, and we're gonna put that in the chat box as well, so the
Okay,
people
cool.
have access to go in and follow you.
Okay, our Twitter account is at bid sell consign, and
At Bid Sell Consign.
yep, at bid sell consign, and our Instagram profile is Infinite Auctions.
I've already given you a follow on Infinite Auctions. You've got a ton of cool stuff to look at there. LeBron.
Yeah,
I don't know when he's gonna quit, but I think Wembanyama is gonna pass him on quite a few places.
man, he's kicking butt when Bignana right now.
Too tall and athletic.
Yeah, he's amazing. You know what? He should get defensive player of the year. When he's on the court, the Spurs are the number one defensive team in the NBA.
Now, if you would take somebody from old school and match up with now, I mean, I think it would be cool to see something like Spud Webb go up against Wembanyama or something like that. I mean, because he can get up there.
Right,
But I
man.
think it'd be
Wimby,
like swatting a fly.
man, yeah, Wimby's blocking people's dunks. He's not even jumping. His heels are still on the ground.
Ah, scary.
Yeah, he's
Yep.
got a great career ahead of him. It's going to be amazing to see.
So wrapping this up, I'm going to recap what we've talked about here, and then um, so your company has quite a lot of things you're going after this year. You're looking at potential acquisitions of sports memorabilia collector sector that have like technology attached to it, and you're going to do it in a way that people haven't done before, so that nobody can copy it, right?
You know what? That's a strong possibility. There's multiple scenarios where there's multiple things that we're working on. And if there are opportunities to close some deals where the technology wouldn't be able to be copied, but there's also other opportunities where we can do some things technology wise where we'll be the first, to announce, so to speak. So um, in that sector, so we got some cool things cooking.
Okay. And you're looking at ramping up revenue over the next year. You're
Yep.
looking at being able to um, increase your shareholder value, communicate more effectively through social media with your investors on Twitter and with the world through Instagram and other avenues.
Right.
And there's things you can't talk about yet that you're going to come back on and talk about later.
Yeah, you know what? And that's a part of ramping up our revenue is closing these deals. So I mean it's not like a light switch, like you just go and flick the switch and say, hey, it's on now. There's a lot of moving parts and things that we're working on. We've been negotiating some deals for quite some time. But eventually when some of these deals start to close, we'll come on, there'll be exciting developments and we'll come on and talk about it, and it'll be fun.
Awesome. Hey, well, last question here, because I mean, right now you're talking with investors and traders. Can you address the stock structure that you have at the present moment? Give them any type of expectations concerning the way your stock is structured.
You know what? I, I've had people question me about this before, and
Mm.
we're gonna do some things to make the share structure more attractive. I'll put it that way.
Okay. Well, I was looking back through the history, and I saw that before you took the helm of MDCE, they had done like three reverse splits, 2008, 2013, and 14. So I'm guessing you're not going to go that route. Um, And I would
That
love to hear if you do something like a stock buyback program or anything like that, because I think that you can get some real serious buzz going on about what your company is doing that way.
right,
Just in
right.
my opinion.
Yeah, you know what? This isn't a, you see a lot of different things in OTC markets.
Oh yeah.
This isn't a smash and grab type situation. This is my life's work. I had a card. I had like a sports car showcase under my bed when I was 10. And I sell cars to the kids in the neighborhood. So this is my life's passion. It's not like I'm gonna do a deal and ride off into the sunset and kind of just leave the stock. That's not gonna happen. Anything that we do moving forward, I can't predict the future. Anything that we do moving forward, it will be in the best interest of the company and investors, like collectively. You know what I mean? Like, so because we want to build something that'll be here for time to come. Like, it's not just like we want to build something that'll last for a year. Like, I'm here to build something. We got a lot of time and energy and money invested. So we're here to build something that's going to last.
Dude, I'm honored to have had you on here. Marshall, it's a
Thank
pleasure
you.
to meet you, man. Really,
Same here,
seriously.
man. I appreciate
And
you guys.
I know when God puts a passion in your heart for something and you go after it, nothing's gonna stop you. So
Man,
I congratulate you on what you're doing, man.
amen to that, man. I truly appreciate you guys. Hey, thank you to all of the investors and supporters of MDCE and Infinite Auctions that chimed in. Um, I you guys can email me, info@infiniteauctions.com if you guys have any questions. And I look forward to being back on your show sometime soon.
Awesome. Hey, do you mind if I open up the floor for a few questions from investors if they want to come up and say anything?
All right, sure thing. I can't divulge any news that'll be
Of
future
course.
PRs, but I definitely can answer some questions.
All right, awesome. All right, if you have a question for Marshall, please raise your hand. Remember, you can't ask about forward-looking things that have not been publicly disclosed. But if you have questions about his business, things that have already been put in PRs or financials or anything like that, please come on up and ask a question because you've got the man in front of you, and you can't ask nobody else but straight from the person that they can tell you. So,
All right, let's go.
who's up? I know we're gonna have questions.
All right, I guess I answered them all. Let's go.
Wow, I love that. Kiko, you got anything to say?
Yeah, like I thought it was really interesting, and it's so nice to hear someone with a real passion for it, because sometimes you'll hear companies just kind of going through the motions. They're selling God knows what. So it is extremely encouraging to hear. In terms of the stuff you're getting into, you're saying infinite auctions. You have a bunch of different uh, product lines and types of collectibles. What would be ultimately where you'd like to end up? Would you make it to art and fine jewelry, or do you what would you think would be your final destination in terms of hitting the top?
You know what? I think yeah, thank you for your question and for your kind words. I think ultimately I think anything in the collectible space will be our end journey. So if there's people that are collecting fine timepieces. It could be fine handbags. It can be meteorites. It could be dinosaur bones. Like, are that initially when initially when I came up with the name of the company, it was Infinite Auctions for a reason. I just did so much work in the sports collectible space that it's like when people see me wherever I go in the collectible space, it's like that's the guy with the game used stuff. Like, but ultimately, I'm not saying it's going to happen this year, but our end goal is to evolve into a place where collectors of all things can come and interact, and that's the
Well, that
plan,
sounds like a
indeed.
All right.
platform is forming. I'm not trying to too forward think, but I mean that sounds like a social media platform right there.
Well, you know what? We'll talk later.
All right.
Don't
All
put
right,
them in a
guys.
don't put them in a corner, man.
And listen, Marshall, it's been a pleasure. It's been an honor. Thank you so much for coming on to OTC Stock Talk. We're here for investors and traders to learn more about public companies like yourself and get due diligence that they can use to make an intelligent decision with. And I thank you for being able to share that with him today.
Hey, you guys are fantastic. This was a whole lot of fun, and thank you everybody for tuning in. And until next time.
You got it.
All right.
Looking forward to it.
All right, take care, guys.